Hi, welcome to wheatgrasskits.com. We got some instructional videos here on how to grow your own sprouts in your own home, your own kitchen countertops. Fun, easy, delicious. Even my kids really like sprouts, which you couldn't say about most other healthy things out there. So that's kind of a neat idea. But we're going to talk real quickly a little bit about our handy pantry sprouting line, which you can buy our full line of sprouting seed and sprouting supplies at www.wheatgrasskits.com or also www.handypantry.com. Also, in most fine health food stores around the United States, you're going to be able to find our sprouting supplies, our sprout garden, and our line of certified organic sprouting seeds, our jar sprouters, our bag sprouters. If there's a health food store that you patronize regularly that does not carry our stuff, complain to them. Tell them, hey, I'd really love it if you'd carry some handy pantry sprouting supplies. And they can find us very easily on the World Wide Web, and we'd love to get our stuff in their stores so it's convenient for you. But again, also all available online at handypantry.com and wheatgrasskits.com. Now, let's talk about the three major methods of growing sprouts. Now, we sell all kinds of other sprouters from other product lines, but our sprouting approach we really love. And let's start with our all-time favorite way to grow sprouts, and that is this stackable tray sprouter. This is our handy pantry stackable sprout garden, and it is a spectacular way to grow sprouts because it's so flexible. You can grow large quantities all the way down to small quantities and do it in a very small footprint on your countertop. So let's take a look at the contents of our sprouter here. It's a 3-tray sprouter, but you can combine 2 3-tray sprouters, and we start you off with a nice amount of alfalfa seed. You can do another one and another one. There we go. And another one and another one, and you can just keep stacking that guy up ad infinitum, and you get the basic idea here. You've got the ability to, in a very, very concise way, grow a huge amount of sprouts, which is really cool. And we'll talk a little bit about this sprouting method, and we'll move over to the sink here in just a moment, and we will actually plant some sprouts and see how they look. And here's your final product, right, with some grown sprouts. That's our 5-part sprouting mix. Our 5-part has alfalfa, broccoli, radish, mung, and lentil. It's one of our best sellers, our 5-part sprouting mix. And down here, if I'm not mistaken, there's our 3-part sprouting mix, which is alfalfa, radish, and broccoli. Just delicious. Eat this right out of the tray. Spectacular. Bit of lemon juice, lemon pepper. Just use that in a salad. Use it on a sandwich. We scramble it in eggs. All kinds of delicious ways to use sprouts. And it's fun to grow. And we'll talk again a little bit when we move over to the sink. We'll talk about the process of growing sprouts. The cool thing about sprouts is they're unbelievably easy to grow. They're healthy, they're nutritious, very, very good stuff. And again, our very favorite sprouter is our stackable garden sprouter. Let's talk about a couple of other methods. We've got a jar sprouter that comes with a lid, and instructions are so simple that you'll note that they're printed right there, right on the side of the jar. So that's a complete sprouter right in one. The difference with the jar sprouter is it will grow limited quantities, right? And it's got a nice strainer lid, so you can rinse and drain right with the jar sprouter, but that's a fairly limited quantity. And it doesn't block as much sunlight. So again, the tray sprouter, absolutely our favorite. And then, not the most popular in the world. It's a little bit more for a specific application. If you want to take sprouts with you when you go hiking or camping or any kind of outdoor stuff, or maybe RV travels, that type of thing, the bag sprouter is just a spectacular way to do that, because all you've got to do is fill up that bag with sprouting seed, dip it in cold water, rinse it under the sink, whatever it is. You can just hang it up. It'll drip dry, and you rinse it that way. You can take that with you on a hike, believe it or not, and it's actually a pretty popular way to do that. Okay, let's talk about the sack or the bag method of sprouting. We've got a nice natural fiber bag here, and let's open up our bag sprouting kit, or our sprouting sack kit, and let's see what we got in there. We got a nice, real simple instruction set, which I'm going to kind of walk you through here, but there's really nothing to it. You could probably almost figure it out, frankly. let's open this guy up. Oh, we got a couple little surprises inside here. We got two bags, two 8-ounce bags of seed that is really ideal for a sprouting sack. We've got green pea and we have mung bean, both a little bit larger seed. One of my favorites is Protein Powerhouse. It's got garbanzo, it's got adzuki, mung, it's got some green pea in there. It's a nice mix of larger, protein-rich, larger seeds. And any larger seed is going to do pretty well in a sprout bag. And you can grow smaller seeds, but you get a lot of stuff sticking to the inside of the bag. And kind of a little tough to get out of there. So let's go ahead and grow some green pea, a very, very sweet sprouting seed. And again, this is really ideal for a little more outdoors, a little more travel-related sprout or hiking and that kind of thing. All we're going to do is we're going to start off by soaking some seed. And I can soak it in whatever. I'm going to use one of our sprouting jars here and soak this seed for, you know, probably a good 8 hours is ideal. Now, you don't have to do that. What you can do, one way to soak it would be simply to put that in the bag and then seal that up, and then you can get a bowl. So we've got some cold water there, and all you got to do is just drop that sprout bag right in there and let it soak. You can let it soak right in the bag for, oh, typically about 8 hours. Now, once that guy's soaked, you won't need the bowl anymore. But all you've got to do at that point is you can just hang that from a nail. You can hang it from a tree if you're camping, whatever it happens to be. And then when this bag seems like it's starting to dry out, no problem. Just give it a nice soak in cold water and keep that guy damp periodically. Okay, now let's take a look at the jar sprouting method. Very easy to sprout. Instructions right on the side of the jar, piece of cake, 4 easy steps. Step number 1 is soak the seed. What we're going to do here is we are going to grow one of my all-time favorite mixes, crunchy lentil. It's got French blue lentil, green lentil, and red lentil in this. And lentil sprouts, for some reason, are just especially tasty to me. My kids certainly love them. We're going to put a fair amount, maybe you know, a 1/4 cup, 1/3 of a cup in there, and that'll make a surprising amount of sprouts. You'll be quite surprised by how much sprouts that will grow up into. And all we're going to do is we're going to give that guy a soak in cold water. All right? That's all there is to it. Plenty of cold water, always cold water for rinsing and soaking. And we're going to screw our sprouting jar strainer lid right on top of that guy. And we're going to set that guy aside for probably a good, 8 hours overnight. You can certainly sprout that inside the refrigerator, keep it nice and cool, no problem at all. Now, once you've got that guy sprouted, you can see with the sprouting jar strainer lid, convenient, very nice. You can angle that guy up on your sink, let that guy drain, and then twice a day, come give this guy yet another cold water rinse, and you can rinse right through the sprouting jar strainer lid, which is real convenient. Swish that guy around, give it a nice drain, let that grow 3 or 4 days. You've got a nice crop of delicious sprouts. Make sure, rinse thoroughly and drain frequently. You can store sprouts in your refrigerator, but I prefer to eat them fresh, but they'll keep in your refrigerator, well rinsed and dried maybe on a paper towel before you transfer them into a refrigerator. Make sure they're nice and dry before you move them over. And that is the jar sprouting method. And here's what you've got. This is a jar sprouting method with some Protein Powerhouse. And let's take a look at that. Give these guys a rinse here. Right, so you can see there, that's our Protein Powerhouse. We'll give that guy just a nice drain. And there you go. Delicious, very nutritious Protein Powerhouse sprouts. A little bit of lemon pepper and lemon juice on that guy. Amazing, amazing lunch. Let's talk about our very, very, very favorite sprouting method, and that is the Stackable Handy Pantry Sprout Garden. This, in our experience, look, we've used 4 or 5, 6 different kind of stackable sprouter systems. Lots of different ones. And you know what? They're all fine. And we sell a lot of those, in fact. However, this is the sprout of our manufacture. This is our product that we create, manufacture. And this sprouting tray is Absolutely, far and away, the simplest, easiest, common sense, best and most versatile sprouting system out there, and it is because it's so simple. You got a lot of complexity out there in the world of sprouters, and it's unneeded. This is nice and simple, and it's stackable, which means you've got a nice, easy way to do variable quantities. Some of the nice trays out there are very small, and you can't really ramp up quantity if that's what you want to do. This you can do very small quantities, enough for one person occasionally, or very large quantities, large families, family reunions, whatever, sprouts however much you want to do. So let's talk about how to use the sprouting tray, and you'll see here that it's a two-component. We've got 4 bases and 3 sprouting trays, and you can just stack that guy very easily, and you can combine multiple sprout gardens and stack quite high, as we talked about a little bit earlier. But it's a very, very nice way to do sprouting. So what we're going to do here is let's first soak some seed, and you can use the base here to use as a bowl to soak seed in. So let's do this. Let's grab some crunchy lentil, one of my favorites, and let's just put a reasonable amount of seed down there in the base. Maybe about 1/3 of a bag, typically. You can do a little more or less and experiment with quantities. I don't like to overdo it myself. And let's give that guy about an 8-hour soak in cold water. All right, just right in the base of that sprouting tray. So once you've got that guy soaked for about 8 hours, and we'll go ahead and just kind of proceed as if it were soaked. Once you've got that guy soaked for about 8 hours, then kind of agitate it a little bit to get those seeds out of the grooves down there, and you can just transfer that straight into the sprouting tray. Now, if you still have a little seed in here, which you typically would, we'll just put a little more water in there and get it out. There we go. And we'll turn that guy into a base, and you can see there's plenty of drain holes there. So once you've got that seed in there, let most of the water drain out. And then kind of distribute that seed fairly evenly in the base and drop it right there. And again, then you can start building a tower of sprouts for whatever amount that you desire. Now what you want to do is go back and re-rinse that seed probably twice a day in the beginning. Again, always cold water. Give that guy a rinse twice a day. Agitate a little bit and get the bulk of the water out. And that's it. And eventually, 2, 3, 4 days. I like sprouts a little young. I don't like to let them grow up all the way myself. That's a fully grown, that's about 3.5 to 4 days. I typically don't like them that big. I like them and prefer them when they're a little bit younger as a sprout. And let's take a look here. But this guy, same kind of process. Just give that guy a nice rinse. And that is, again, ready for eating. You can always take the lid off for the last couple, 5, 6 hours and green them up a little bit if that's your preference. But no problem at all there. And you can kind of see how that process works. You can rotate them and have day 1, day 2, day 3. So you've got always fresh sprouts ready to harvest, which is, again, one of the reasons we like the versatility of the stackable handy pantry sprout garden. It's absolutely our favorite sprouter. Now, last key issue is on storage. If we took this guy, I'd want to give these guys a real thorough final rinse in cold water and go ahead and then enjoy. But anything leftovers, you can store them in Tupperware, you can store them in a Ziploc baggie, but before you do, make sure they're nice and dry. I like to take these guys out and spread them on a paper towel and make sure they dry out nice and dry before I put those in the refrigerator for storage, and make sure you do store them nice and cool refrigerated. So again, check us out at www.wheatgrasskits.com and www.handypantry.com for our full line of sprouters, sprouting supplies, and lots and lots and lots of sprouting seeds. We're going to be playing around a little bit with Crunchy Lentil Fest, one of my all-time favorites, and bean salad, one of my kids' all-time favorites. But we have over 40 different types of sprouting seed: alfalfa, clover, broccoli, mung, green pea, variety of different lentils, and tons of different delicious sprouting mixes, all certified organic. So again, you'll want to visit us at wheatgrasskits.com and handypantry.com.